Alright, and as you can see, the bubbles are starting to do their bubbling thing. This is not, of course, at a rolling boil. I do not have a temperature sensor or a thermometer in there. That's why I love Hiram Cook's videos. He is very, very methodical.
Hi, Hiram here.
He basically tests everything in the same type of conditions. Might be a different temperature variance. Now we've got some actual boiling on the side there. The thing that I've noticed is the flame is still going good, but I don't know how much longer that's going to run. The thing that I've noticed is it depends on the cook pot. If you take 1 fluid ounce of, say, heat, it may boil that pot of water in 7 minutes. You put another pot on there, it may take 14 minutes to boil it. It just depends on the pot. I'm not using a lid, as you can see. But anyway, all that has a lot of variables and it has a lot of factors involved. And of course, the fact that I'm here inside my home, there's no wind blowing, I don't really have to worry about the temperature difference. It's about 74 degrees in here right now. But what I'm going to show you is once this thing burns out, I'm going to empty the water out. I'm going to turn the pan over. And I'm going to take a paper towel in my finger and I'm going to rub the bottom of it. There's not going to be any soot. As soon as this thing burns out, I'm going to empty that water like I say, and we're going to do the old finger test. You guys know about the finger test, I'm sure. But this happens to relate to soot, not the smut part. Alright. Well, we're getting into the boil here. Anyway, whether this thing boils or not, that's sort of not the issue here. It's all about the soot. We'll get into boil times later. And it's actually stopping the boiling process now. That means that I am almost out of fuel. No, that thing's still going. Look at there, still burning. And two, I've also noticed, I'll try to do this, that when you're using isopropyl alcohol, 70%, at the end of the burn time, if you look down inside your burner, you have water left. Well, mixing this stuff here half and half like I've done, there's no water left. It actually evaporates the water. Alright, we still got a flame, but it's a little bit reduced in size. That means we're getting down to the last few ounces of fumes. We did get it to a boil. Right now it's just at a simmer. And you know what? I'm going to try to take this off without spilling. Let you look at the burner itself. See that orange flame? And like I say, we're down to the last few grams. Even though the flame looks orange, it does not sit up. And you know, I guess it's the color yellow that does. I don't really want to show my nasty kitchen right now, but I want you guys to see what I'm doing here. I don't want you to think that I'm trying to cheat you in any way. There's no reason for me to lie about this. Pour the hot water out. Take it directly over here and set it down. Now the bottom of my pan is black, and it's black naturally because I've used this thing over and over and it's well seasoned. I call it a seasoning. I'm going to give it just a minute here. Like I said, the water could have boiled, but it got real close to it, and that's not the point. Of course, now run out time could have also affected the soot factor because that's what isopropyl does, especially on a flat cat gear stove, but it doesn't. Trust me, it don't. You know, here we go. And it's still hot. There's no soot on my finger. Absolutely no soot. Now, my towel here is not exactly the cleanest thing in the world, but I'm going to rub the heck out of it. I'm trying to use my middle finger to give you guys the finger. Remember the finger check. Now that right there could be considered soot, but I know what that is. That's not soot. That's actually the oil and stuff that I had on the bottom of this pan because I oiled it down last night. To prove my point again, the sides, rubbing it hard. Do you see soot? You guys know what I'm talking about when I say soot. Oh, see, there's oil. That's the vegetable oil I had on there from last night. Let me set this test up again using just isopropyl alcohol. We'll do it again. And by the way, I didn't show a close-up, but see, there's no water in there. The isopropyl is completely evaporated. Now, you don't get that when you use it alone. Alright, guys and gals, this is the 70% rubbing alcohol. It's the same exact stove. This time I put that stainless steel sink strainer on it that I modified. And pot stand again. Now that's burning more of a yellow-orange flame. It's got some blue to it, and that blue is what you want. Now, when I do this, I don't even have to let this thing prime. Not at all. I just put it on there direct. Between the beginning burn and the very ending burn is when you get more of the soot than you want. That's what I've learned. So this is good and heated up, but I don't normally wait that long because the little bit of residue I normally get on there, I'm not really worried about. Another 2 cups of water. Here's a shot underneath again. And it's the same exact distance that I had on the first test. This thing does not want to focus when it gets up close. Now, I'm not going to fibulate to you. It takes longer to boil water using 70% rubbing alcohol, but it will work. This is the point. Is here is the soot and smoke. Now, ooh, look at that. What is that? Wow, where did we get an orange flame from? Cool. Never noticed that before. Must have been some type of contaminant in there. Interesting. I don't know, Hiram. You usually see them things too. But anyway, I'm not going to bore you with the details on this one here. We're going to let this basically run out. I'm going to empty this and we're going to do another finger test. Be right back with you. I might show you some of the video of it boiling, but yeah, you know, boiling water is not my forte as far as when it comes to recording. Got to have light to focus. There we go. It did focus in there, and I'm backed up. I'm still getting that orange flame in there. I wonder where that's from. There, now it's blue. You can barely see it on the screen. Ah, okay. Maybe a little residue of that cooking oil that I applied to the pan. I always oil my pans up because it's basically a tin type of alloy. That's why I love stainless steel. Anyway, we'll go back to it. Trying to get you some of that inside action. Oh yeah, Jurassic Park. I don't know why they had to go through all that trouble. If you watch the behind the scene things, it's just simple to do. Just bang the dashboard and it would have done the same thing, I believe. You know, the Tyrannosaurus Rex scene, you know. I don't know why they had to go through all that trouble attaching a guitar string to the bottom of that console, and somebody had to pluck it underneath the car just to get that ripple. But then again, I think the ripple was actually from the center back out. Who knows? The impact tremor. I don't know if I can get that thing to zoom in. Well, anyway, that's how it goes. Been a few minutes later, and I know that this 1 fluid ounce of isopropyl alcohol is not going to cause this water to come to a complete boil. It's already taking longer because isopropyl just doesn't get that hot when you have it sitting at that distance. Like I said, this is all about trying to keep it from sooting your pot up. And the distance between the top of that burner, which has now got the stainless steel on it, and the bottom of the pot is usually somewhere around a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch. It may be a little bit more, a little bit less. I can't guarantee you that distance. All I know is that when I finally drilled these holes for the hobo stove, I kind of got an eye for it, burning over and over and over again. But you see that there's a blue flame in there, a little bit of orange. But as long as there's no yellow, that's what we're looking for. Now, doing this with tin cans and stuff, sometimes isopropyl will put that brownish residue. And I don't mind that at all. As long as it don't rub off on me and my other equipment, I'm not worried about that. It actually dries on there. It kind of basically seasons the tin can. But it's not the black soot. It's just like residue from fat wood or something in there. You guys who've done this a lot, you know what I'm talking about. And isopropyl will do that, even in this particular state sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. It just depends on exactly. You see that part of the pot stand right there, that metal? See, it's not black at all. This one here next to this burner, this one over here, none of those are blackened at all. And that's what we're talking about. If this whole burner were dropped down to where it was an inch below, you get a lot of soot. There's no black. That little black that you see right at the tip of my little fingernail, if this thing's not focusing worth a darn, that's actually from previous tests. That's the part that I didn't file down. There's some sharp metal there, and it's caught inside that. I didn't actually clean that off. But anyway, I'm going to ask Hiram Cook to do this test because you guys respect him. You believe in what he says. Most of you do anyway. And I do. I mean, I watch his channels over and over, and he's like me. He has no reason to lie about anything. He doesn't make money off this deal. See, another thing I wanted to mention, turn the light of the cell phone off so maybe you can see more of the blue flame. Another thing I wanted to mention here is the isopropyl 70%, when it burns like this, or basically anytime you use it, it puts out that smell, that burnt isopropyl smell. And if you're cooking inside like I am doing these tests, it could possibly give you a slight headache. And I'm not sensitive to materials like this at all, but the more and more I do this, not being ventilated, it gives me a slight headache from time to time. Now, the Super X gas treatment, I don't know what type of toxins those things put out. I don't know anything about that. I'm not dealt in that particular area. As long as this thing just cooks and does what it's supposed to do, that's all I'm happy about, because I'm usually outside when I do this anyway. Now the flames are starting to go out. I believe that isopropyl is about on its last leg. The flames reduce, and now we see the yellow. And that right there is usually when Flat Cat Gear says take it off the fire, you're going to get the sooting effect. Well, let's take a look at the water. I say I knew it wasn't going to come to a rolling boil. It never does at 1 ounce. Usually with 1.5 to 1 3/4 an ounce, I can get this thing to a rolling boil. But then again, I don't know if this is really super cost effective to those of you who use heat. In the yellow bottle, when I say that you mix the 70% with this right here to reduce the cost of this, it may actually hurt you on your boil time. But for me, this is ideal. I'm going to do this again right quick while I got the camera running. No, I'm going to turn it off, turn the light on. Hold on. Alright, sorry about that, guys. I try to do this all in one shot, so you don't think I'm trying to cheat you. But this cell phone, you can't turn the light on and off when it's running, with it running. I don't know why. Pour the water out into the dirty dishes and just lay it over like that. Now, can you see that? See those bubbles in there? That wasn't there before. I didn't clean the pan or wash it. I'm going to let it cool down before I put my finger on it. I'm actually going to lick my finger to see if anything sticks to it. And there's a little bit of that residue right there, but there's no soot. That's a little bit of soot right there. It sure is. Just a wee bit. Not very much at all. But basically what it does is it puts that brown tang on there. Stanley. You see the bottom of that Stanley? That's the kind of stuff that it puts on there, and that stuff does not rub off. And it doesn't, there's no black soot. I mean, you see what I'm talking about. Matter of fact, I'll do one more test. I'm not even going to put the full ounce in there. I'm going to pour maybe a quarter. Well, while I'm talking about that, let me get my stainless steel ring here off. See the water in there? That's from straight 70% rubbing alcohol. And I'm going to set this up one more time. I'm not going to clean this off. I'm going to show you guys the difference. All I'm going to do is drop this burner down. I'm going to put maybe another cup of water in there just to keep it from warping the pan. And I'm going to let that burn out just that little bit. Let it burn out. We're going to see the soot.